So we want to encourage you to get discomfortable, discomfortable.
Wait. We're
Right.
trying to mend the two. It's like, who raised you?
Yeah.
That's how I thought. Like, who raised you to think that way? Like, why?
Discomfortable. Well, made up a word.
Right.
What's up, family? It's your boy Jet Lee, and you are now tuned in to another episode of the Load Up Podcast. We're so excited, man, to be able to give you this new episode, man. Cortne B, what's up?
Look, I'm just happy to be back. We took what, a month off?
Yeah, so.
So.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just excited to be back. I'm excited about this topic today. And yeah, we love this. Like, I feel like we have conversations now and we're like, oh, we're gonna talk about that on the podcast. So that's
Yeah.
a good podcast topic.
Good
Oh, we
podcast.
need to
Yeah.
talk. Yeah.
Yeah,
So
for
I'm
sure.
excited. I'm glad to be back.
Oh. All right, man. Before we get into it, make sure you like and subscribe and comment.
Yeah.
All the support, we thank you. So we just want to continue to grow the channel. So again, make sure you like, subscribe, comment, tell somebody about it. And this podcast is for people that have dreams, people that have a purpose, a vision in life, and we want to just encourage you guys to just live your dreams. Just load up, live your dreams every single day. Everybody has a gift inside of them. Everybody has a purpose. God didn't just send you down here just to live. He sent you down here for a reason, and we just want to encourage you and motivate you and educate you, and just so you can go out there and live your dreams and have a purposeful life, man. And that's what it's really all about, man. It's just living your life with so much going on in this world and so many things happening. People can stray away, and that's what we church yesterday. People can drift away from the purpose and from the dreams and from the vision that you have for your life because you're so focused on just the day-to-day things in life, man. You know, taking care of kids, paying the bills, running the household, just making sure everything is just taken care of, that you just drift away from what you were put here to do. So if you're watching this episode, you tapped in, man, make sure you don't give up on your dreams and make sure you don't drift away from your dreams. Stay locked in, stay motivated, stay encouraged, and just make that thing happen, man. Something big happened in Birmingham, Alabama, because you know we in the ham, the World Games, right?
Yes.
That was big. World Games 2022.
Yes.
That was big. We did get to experience the opening. The opening ceremony, which was cool. I did work some just as a firefighter. I did work some events, which was cool. And just have it all, like we had over 70 countries here in Birmingham.
Yeah, that's big.
And that was just big, man, for all Germany and Japan and all these other countries just come in and just kick it in Birmingham, Alabama, man. Like, and on the outside, people like Birmingham. That's just not a place where you just think things will happen. But
even people that live here, though, even people that live here feels like, you know, we want to get away or we don't want to live here. But, you know, ultimately, we've talked about, you know, moving as well. But I think that Birmingham is growing. We love Mayor Woodfin. I think, although we don't live in Birmingham anymore, when we did, you know, we made sure that we supported them. But I think Birmingham is on the up and up, for real. Like, it's gonna be a hub in a minute, for sure.
For sure. There's a lot of things happening, a lot of things taking place.
Talent, for sure.
For sure.
Yeah.
A lot of things being built. So Birmingham is moving on up, man. But we just wanted to shout out just Birmingham for hosting the World Games. That was big. That was dope for the whole city. If you got a chance to visit something, just comment your favorite thing that you went to, your favorite event that you went to. Like I did like the opening ceremony. That was dope for us. I did like City Walk as well. City Walk is a dope place.
Yes.
What if you don't know what City Walk is? City Walk is just a long walking place that is under the bridge, one of our longest bridge in Birmingham, and you can just kind of walk from end to end, ride scooters, and they have skate parks that you can do, and they have different restaurants down K&J.
Yeah.
Go
We
get
love
some of
K&J
that.
pastries.
Yep,
Those
Eugene's.
colossal milkshakes, those cupcakes. Woo.
Good.
Yeah.
So, I'm excited for just what's happening here, at home, man. And
Yeah.
yeah, just want to give a shout out to Birmingham, for doing their thing with that, Mary Wolfman. We're gonna have to get you on the show, man. We're gonna
Oh
have to
yeah.
get him on the show. We're gonna have to get him on the show, man. That's gonna be big. Just
Yeah.
speaking into existence,
Well, we actually did a radio show with him
Yeah.
before he was elected. Remember?
Yeah.
He's always been cool, always down to earth.
Yep.
I remember somebody said, "How can I meet Mayor Wolf?" And we like be outside because
Yeah.
he literally be everywhere supporting
outside.
everybody, all kind of events and everything. We love that. We love that he's hands on. He's
Yeah.
doing the footwork, and he loves his people. I mean, he loves his city. I love it.
For sure. So yeah, we in August now.
Yeah.
July was a good month.
Yeah, this year getting out of here for real.
Yeah, it is. If you think about it, it's getting out. It's moving fast.
Yeah.
So that lets you know time waits for nobody. Time is
Nobody.
moving. Time does not stay still. Time is just every single day.
Yeah.
Every single day, time is moving. So, make sure that you're just taking advantage of your time. So we're starting a new month. We're in August. You got any goals that you want to accomplish this month?
I definitely have money goals for our business.
For sure.
I am trying to. I started off the year saying I was going to read a book a month. We in August, and let's just say I have not read 8 books. Let's just say that. But for the rest of the year, though, definitely, I'm starting "Don't Settle for Safe"
Okay.
by Pastor Sarah Jakes Roberts.
Okay. Sound good.
For the year of August, the month of August.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, I told you to hold me accountable.
Okay.
Let's make sure that. So we like to challenge each other, y'all. So make sure you have people in your life that's gonna challenge you to make sure that you're staying on track when you say that you have a goal. Make sure that they're gonna hold you accountable for it. So I said for August, that's gonna be my book 1, and I'm gonna make sure that September, October, November, December.
And if you
Get some
don't do it, $20, right?
I ain't say all of
Don't
that.
bet on it. We're
but I
gonna get
did
it.
say I was
No,
gonna
you
knock
gotta
it the whole-
have consequences if you do not complete the goal. Right?
I give you a little stanky 20, but I'm gonna make sure I complete the goal, so I ain't gotta give him this little phone.
Exactly. Y'all see it. Y'all see it. So
No,
make sure
but,
we got it on camera.
No, definitely though. That's I think my main goal for the rest of the year. Yeah, that's. I think because I want to kind of make sure that I'm broadening, first of all, my vocabulary.
Right.
That I'm reading and making sure that a lot of people say that we don't read, like we don't like to read, and I want to make sure that I'm learning more, that I'm being exposed to more. Although you get exposure by people that you are around in your environment, but make sure that you're reading certain books. You can learn things from Napoleon Hill and. I love Sarah Jakes Roberts. I love her book. She's wrote a couple of books. I'm going to read Crazy Faith by Pastor Mike Todd.
That's a good one.
Yeah, just making sure that you have substance and you're getting substance from something. And I think those are my goals. What about you?
Definitely want to stay on my saving track.
Okay.
Everything is on track right now.
Mm-hmm.
So I want to keep that going. I got a certain amount that I want to hit by the end of the month. So that's 1. 2, I want to put out 2 episodes this month.
Okay.
So we want to put out another episode in August, and another one is I want to take you on a date.
Oh,
Yeah.
How many? How many?
How many?
How many your goal is for the month?
We're gonna at least 2, at least
Okay.
2 dates.
And ultimately,
At
I think
least
a lot
2
of people that follow us, like one thing about it, we make sure that we date. We
Yeah.
make sure, because although we don't have kids right now, we know eventually we don't
have
know how
some.
many, but
Yeah,
eventually
we
we want to
have
make sure that we're already setting the foundation
Right.
for dating, so that when life changes or we add more people to the family, that is already kind of a norm for us.
Right.
So that it's already a habit. So we'll
Right.
continue to do it. So anybody, that's married, dating seriously, don't stop dating. You continue to learn from each other. You continue to learn each other. We were
Right.
talking the other day about love languages, and my love language, when we started dating 6 years ago, is definitely not that love language now. So
Uh-huh.
And he asked me, I think it's all love for you. You know, so I think
depending on what mood I'm in.
Depending on what mood I said season. I think he heard I said mood. But no, I think dating is so vital because you continue to talk.
Yeah, for sure.
And when we were doing our premarital counseling, they made sure they told us, you know, keep talking. Make sure you keep talking, keep learning each other. So yeah, I want to challenge you. We've already challenged, you know, some couples that's close to us, you know, to make sure, even if you start off with just one date a month.
Right.
And it doesn't have to cost money. It can be you just set aside a time for y'all to just go get ice cream and just talk. Or, you know, don't talk about kids, don't talk about work, don't talk about business, nothing but you two, you know. So I think that's super vital for marriage and dating seriously.
For sure. Okay, so 2 dates. I'm gonna read the book.
Finish that book. He got a book I want to read, y'all, so bad. He been reading that book about 5 months.
2 months. I want to. I got a new book. I'm gonna finish that. As of right now, that's it. It is the first day, so that the first day I do like to kind of sit down and see where I want to go with everything. Oh, plan the party. Got to plan my 30th party. Planning that.
Not good. We had a venue and we had a caterer. Yeah. I think that's.
So now I just got to pay.
Find something well.
I gotta pay. That's the hardest part.
I think the hardest part gonna be wardrobe.
So yeah. But those are the goals for August, man. Yeah. So hey, if you tapped in, you're listening right now, make sure right now take the time out, write some goals down for the month. I mean, just write. Ain't gotta be a long list. Just write down 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 little goals, tasks that you may want to accomplish this month. And I love writing it down because you get to look at it. You know, you get to look at it and see, all right, this is what I'm supposed to be doing. All right, this is next, and this is next. So I know where my time going, I know where my focus going, I know where my energy going, I know where my money going, because I got my goals down and I know what I want to get accomplished.
Yeah. And so something else so good about I don't mean to cut you off. Something else that's so good about writing your goals down is just say you write it down in August.
Oh yeah.
In December you can go back and look at how far you've come. You know, which keeps you kind of on track or helps you just say, okay, I can do this now. Like I know this is working because in August I said this is my goal. I'm in December. I have tripled that.
Right.
You know?
All right. I love that you see me go back in my notebook all the time. You're like, man, I wrote this down, this down.
Yeah.
In 2020, and boom, we living it, you know. So I love writing it down. But yeah, so that kind of lead us into our topic as well, and that's doing it afraid.
Yeah.
Doing it afraid, man. Just write it in the comments. Doing it afraid. It's so big because I believe it's a lot of things that people and humans want to do, but just afraid to do it.
Yeah.
Just if you just stop and think about, man, like I really want to go back to school, or I really want to, you know, marry this female, or I really want to go back and talk to my kids that I haven't talked to in years. Whatever it is, it's like you're gonna have to always do it afraid, because we're not at that time. If I feel like we don't always have the courage, or we don't always have the strength, because we feel so unworthy because of our mistakes and because our past circumstances, that we feel like we're not worthy for to do this thing, right? We're not worthy to have success. We're not worthy to go talk to my kids because I wasn't a good parent to them for so many years. I'm not worthy to go sit in the classroom because I failed so many times in the past. But doing it afraid it's the best thing that you can do for your life. It's been times where, you know, we've been afraid. Shoot. Quitting jobs, you know, we doing it afraid. Starting businesses, starting the podcast. We're doing it afraid. We didn't know, you know, we don't have a whole lot of subscribers. We don't get a whole lot of views, or we don't have this huge community right now, but we just doing it anyway. You know, just making it happen. And So I just want to encourage you and just start by this, just saying, if it's something that you want to do before the end of the year, I want you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
I want you to do it afraid. I want you to do it scared. I want you to do it nervous, with anxiety. I want you to just push through anyway, because on the other side of being afraid is the success that you want. It's the answers that you need. It's the thing that you need to change your life and to get you to the next level. Being married, I just say for me, it's probably one of the scariest things that I had to do. I did it afraid. I wasn't ready at all. Wasn't the man that I needed to be. And I feel like in any area of my life, as far as in marriage, is provider and being a priest over my home, and just different things that you need to be in order, like, to say you're ready for marriage. I was not it, guys. Like, I feel like I was not it. I felt like I was really like um unworthy to have Courtney. Like, I just felt like I wasn't ready for her. But I did it afraid. Like, and I just trust the process, trust in God, and I was able to say, okay, if she's in my life and she's willing to take a chance on me, then it's something that she sees in me that needs to give me the motivation to be like, all right, just do it afraid and just make it happen along the way. So now, I done grew in so many areas.
Oh
Your
yeah.
daddy said the other
Oh
day he done
yeah.
came a long way, just because, like, I really have, like, just from when she first met me to now, it's just totally different, But I had to do that process afraid.
Yeah.
We went through a period of time where we didn't have sex for 2.5 years before we got married. We did it afraid. We didn't know. She didn't know. She had to be afraid to even tell me that she wanted to stop having sex. So, but she did it anyway because she knew that this was something that was sacred to her. This was something that she really wanted to do, and she really wanted to happen in her life. So, on the other side of her telling me was her husband. So if she didn't tell me, it was just like, okay, now she got to start over with somebody. What if I would have said, well, Quentin, I don't want to be with you no more
Yeah.
because I'm not doing it. Then she,
No, you're
we
right.
would have stopped talking, or then she would have to start the process over with another guy, with someone else, and she had to be afraid of that, or she had to be afraid of just telling me. But once she told me, and I agreed to everything, we just went through that journey together, and we was both afraid. Like, we was both didn't know how this thing was supposed to go.
Yeah.
We didn't know how it was gonna look. It was a lot of different emotions and a lot of different things
Yes.
that we had to process. But us doing it afraid, on the other side, man, we have so many blessings from that. We
Yeah.
reap so many blessings that we're still getting just from going through that process. So if it's something that, like I said, if it's something that you're afraid of doing right now in this moment, we just want to encourage you to just take a pause and just think about, if I don't do it, what's going to happen?
Yeah.
Like, what would my life look like if I never do it afraid? And what would my life look like if I just continue to let fear stop me? So just think about those two things right now, and just kind of jot it down and see how you feel about, hey, if I go ahead and approach that person, I go ahead and start this business, what's the best thing that can happen for me? All right, so okay, and you think about that, you write that down. Next thing is, think about and write down, how would you feel if you just continue to let fear control your life? So I just read this morning that God didn't give us, the spirit of fear,
Yeah.
but He wants us to not be controlled by the world, but we control the world. You know what I mean? So I just want you to think about those two things right now. That was kind of my spiel about that in the beginning. I'm let you chime in.
No, I definitely agree. I think when it comes to doing it afraid or being afraid, I
Yeah,
think we have to think through and think about what is causing us to be afraid.
true.
Why are we afraid? What is causing fear?
Mm-hmm.
And I think a lot of times we try to deal with the problem instead of dealing with the root.
Mm.
And a lot of times the root is you're scared of rejection, or you've been rejected,
Right.
and you don't want to be rejected again.
Right.
Like you said, someone that's going back to school, or someone that's going back to try to get that degree, you flunked before.
Yep.
So you're familiar with failure already.
Right.
You're familiar with flunking. You're familiar, with not passing that class. So now you feel like that has to follow you.
Right.
You feel like that's kind of who you are.
Right.
But that doesn't mean that I'm not going to say it doesn't necessarily mean that. It doesn't mean that at all. I think a lot of times we think or we feel that everything is just supposed to go good, or because we think something is supposed to go, or we want something to go a certain way, we feel that it's supposed to go that way automatically with the breeze, instead of kind of welcoming the problem or welcoming the test or the trial, because we need the teacher.
Right.
When you welcome the test, when you welcome the homework, when you welcome the work, you welcome the teacher. And we need God, because ultimately we know our plans are not his plans a lot of times. Now, granted, we know that he'll give us our heart's desires if it's according to his will. But a lot of times we just want our heart's desire without necessarily his will. And we don't think about it like that. But I think when we kind of start thinking through, like, what if this doesn't work? And what if it does? Like you actually said, like, kind of write down what happens if this works.
Right.
And then also write down what happens if it doesn't work.
Right.
And kind of weigh the options. Because a lot of times when you start just thinking about what happens if it doesn't work, you get discouraged.
Exactly.
But if you write down what happens if this does work, then you're like, I can do this.
Right.
Oh, I can work this out. I can woo, whatever. But got different BJ. Got different BJ. I see, look. BJ, look. But no, I definitely believe that, when we get to a point where we kind of figure out where does the fear start.
Yeah.
I think then we can kind of start tackling fear and then do it afraid.
Yeah.
But you have to first get to a point where you go back and say, okay, I was rejected back here.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I failed here. I had a failed business here. I had a failed marriage, but it wasn't their fault. It was my fault.
Yeah.
When you first go back to that, and then now you can say, okay, well, I know the problem. I know the root.
Right.
I know the root. I know the root of the problem. We know what caused the problem, and now let's work through to do it afraid.
Let's do it afraid. Yeah. So, one example of something that you had to do afraid, and what were some things that you did to help you, get on the other side of that thing?
Ooh, I'll just say I'll even go back just to college.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I was the only person, that really from, like, immediate family, that actually graduated college, that went to college. And I think for a long time, out of fear, I wanted to go to college and graduate college and be the person, holding that on my back. I want to be the one to graduate. I want, because I knew I wanted to be the first person to do that. But, ultimately, yes, I got the degree. Yes, I had the ultimate college experience.
Mm-hmm.
But looking back on it now, I think it was for the wrong reason. It wasn't because I wanted to do this for myself. It was because of fear of being another not graduating college, or being another person, not doing this or that.
Right.
And I think when you I let fear control me that way. Ultimately, I don't get me wrong, I do feel like anyone that wants to go to college, go, but for what I do now, I didn't have to go to college for that, So when you let fear guide you or fear control you, then you end up doing things kind of, I really won't say that going to college and getting a degree was out of the will of God, because I do believe that he opened, he'll open doors for you, and he'll even show you things that, you didn't even realize you needed. But I will say that we do make detours off our own choices.
Oh, yeah.
He does give us choices. He give us
free will to
make your choice. And granted, I love that he's a good father, that he's gonna be there to mend me, put them pieces back together. But ultimately, I didn't have to make that detour.
Yeah.
If I would have did it based off of what I knew he wanted me to do and not operating off of fear, and I definitely operated out of the fear of just I won't even say not being another statistic. I'll just say the fear of just not being able to say that I didn't do it. I started something and didn't finish it. You know, that's what it was for me.
Yeah. So we know that fear is false evidence appearing real. So you can't let something that's not real control your life.
Yeah.
You know, and I believe a lot of us, a lot of people in the world, we let fear control our life and our world and our decisions.
Yeah.
It's a lot of things that we do that we make a decision based on fear, you know. So I and of course I dealt with it. Just starting like with load, going to speak or going to sell a shirt to somebody, I was fearful that hey, they may not buy the shirt,
Yeah.
but I wanted to sell more than I cared about them rejecting me. So I wanted to sell. So all right, let's break it down. You gotta have you gotta want that thing more than you will accept rejection.
Yeah.
So that was how I feel. If I wanted to sell, I knew I had to go through rejection to make a sale. So a lot of times, and a lot of times, it's really all in your mind.
Yeah.
Because when I got to talking to the person, telling them the story and the brand and everything, that was like, yeah, it's no brainer.
Yeah.
What? How many you got? Like, let me get one.
They
How
still
much?
telling you now to this
Yeah.
day, hey, I want a shirt.
Yeah.
Yo.
So it's like it's so you can't let that play out in your head, and a lot of times we trick ourselves because we let fear just trick us out our spot. And we let this false evidence appearing real, this thing that's made up.
Yeah.
Fear is not real. Fear is only in our mind. It's only in our. I feel like it's only in our. Now, if you got a fear of bugs or a fear, of, you
Try to help
know,
me out.
snakes or something like that. Now that's a fear. I mean, I just ain't, you know. But we saying fear as far as like having like busting a move in your life.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like we can't be afraid to do that. Just imagine if back in the 70s, if you know our people was afraid to sit at the counter to march, we would never be where we are right now. We'll never have the rights, or we'll never have the same equal opportunities right now if they were afraid. So they wanted the equal rights more than you know than just keep going through the same things that they was experiencing. So I mean, like we can't allow fear to continue to control us, and that's in every areas of our life. So every day I wake up and I look in the mirror, I tell myself, fear does not control me.
Yeah.
Well, that's something I'm gonna start telling myself. Fear does not control me. I'm wealthy, I'm healthy, I'm blessed, I make great decisions, I look good, I feel good, I think good. So you have to speak. You have to speak life over yourself every single day. And I feel like once, like if you speak in those positive words, it'll kind of dumb down that fear, because you're so built up with positivity, you're so built up with excitement and encouragement and strength and the spirit of God that you just want to try it.
Yeah, that and when I started, I am, you know, I realized that I am are two of the most important words for what you put after them shape your life. So if you wake up every day and you say, I am whole, if you wake up every day and say, I am enough, if you wake up every day and say, I am bold, if you wake up every day and say, I am wealthy, I am healthy, you know, if you wake up and speak these things over your life, they have to find you.
Ooh.
What you speak what you seek until you see what you said.
Okay.
You have to continue to say it. You have to continue to speak it and believe it.
And believe
the Bible
says,
says,
that's the key.
Yes, believe it. The Bible says if you ask for it and believe and do not doubt, you will have it.
Right.
So that has me thinking of every time I read that scripture, I always say, what have I kind of doubted that I could really have? And a lot of times we doubt ourselves.
Right.
You know, we doubt if we're good enough. We doubt if we can do it. We doubt if we have enough money for it. But who do you believe in? Do you believe that you're good enough? Do you believe that God will do what he promised? Do you believe that God is God enough to do whatever it is that you're asking for?
Right.
Like, and I know we talked a few episodes back on the podcast, you know, what's your foundation of belief? what do you firmly believe in first, and then that aids in helping you through fear. That aids in helping you through the process of getting over fear, because fear is a real thing. A lot of times we hear, if your dreams aren't big enough, if your dreams doesn't scare you, then they're not big enough.
Right.
So a lot of times we just automatically just jump to big things that nobody in our family have ever seen, and that's scary. That is scary. Like, that's a real fear. That's a real thing. Like, I mean, can I really do this? Or if I get this, how am I going to handle it? Like, how, you start kind of thinking about everything that could go wrong.
Right.
But I think you said it so perfectly, you have to kind of weigh the options of both.
Right.
Weigh the option of what would happen if I get it and it goes right, and what'll happen if I get it if it goes wrong. And I think a lot of times we always get discouraged off of the wrong.
Mm-hmm.
We get discouraged off of the fear of, okay, well, nobody else has done it. Okay, well, this person doesn't want to mentor me, or I don't have enough money in this area. Like, we always think about the wrongs, or the no's, or we always think about what's or what seems impossible.
Right.
And we don't always think about first. Like, I want to challenge you to think about first what goes right. Like, think about that first. Like, I think we're conditioned, and we talked about this as well.
Go to your point.
We're conditioned. He been wanting me to go. And it's so crazy because we be talking about stuff. And we think about, we can talk about it on the podcast, but it'd be real good stuff. He'll be like, babe, that was good. Let's talk about it. But no, I think a lot of times we're conditioned to automatically think the way we were taught, or the way we were brought up. And we talked, like, I remember when we first got married, like, our first year of marriage was real rough. Because my family taught me things a certain way, and his family taught him things a certain way. So when we're trying to mend the two, it's like, who raised you?
Yeah.
That's how I thought. Like, who raised you to think that way? Like, why? And now, as we kind of mature in our marriage, and just in kind of coming as one, or being one, just because I was taught a certain way and he was taught a certain way doesn't mean one of us are right and one are wrong.
Right.
It's just you look at things different.
Right.
So I think it's learned behavior a lot of times. And I'm I won't say I'm getting to the point of kind of unlearning what I was taught, but I'm kind of getting to a point where I'm more open to the way other people were taught or brought up, or the way, the way the world goes around.
Right.
The way the world doesn't just go around the way my family taught me, you know? And I think a lot of times when we get to a point where we kind of realize that, and we realize that we're learning and working off a learned behavior, and you get to a point where you understand, like, I don't have to do it this way. This isn't right or wrong. Granted, it's gonna be a lot of kind of pulling back the scales and unrevealing, and but I think when we get to a point where we kind of understand that there's more than one way to learn something. There's more than what my grandma used to say. There's more than one way to skin a cat. She used to always say that. It's more than one way to do it. I think, fear will always be there, but I think it'll be easier to navigate it when you don't worry about what others did or didn't do, or what you were taught, and the limitations a lot of times that were put on you. Because granted, you got to think about, the world is changing. Like, the way we see things are completely different from the way our parents saw things. And I'm sure the way our parents saw things are completely different from the way that their parents saw it. So the world is continuously changing. But I think, when you get to a point where it is, okay, that's how you see it. But because I said it in a minute, okay, that's how you see it, but I'm still do it.
Yeah.
What I think, when we get to a point where we understand, we don't have to live off of learned behavior. We don't have to operate off of learned behavior. We don't have to necessarily operate off of what was taught to us. Although it's in us, we have to make the conscious decision that this is our life. Fear doesn't have to live here. Fear doesn't have to, be welcome here. I talk to my mom all the time, and she'll tell me, like, she'll tell me things she want to do, and talking to me, I'm like, baby, look, gotta do it. Like, I believe it. Like, And she just like, bro, I ain't finna quit my job right now. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Right.
I'm not like, and I want to do this and this and that. And I feel like that I'm a retire this age. I'm like, no. If God wants you to retire next year, you can do it. What it took for 10 years for someone else, it can take 2 years for you.
Right.
But you have to believe that.
Yeah.
But again, that's learned behavior because my grandma didn't talk like that.
Yeah.
And then somebody coming after her,
Right.
her child coming to tell her. Then granted, it's being open
Right.
to, it doesn't matter if they're younger than you. It doesn't matter, they have less experience from you. You can learn from anybody. Yeah.
Anybody. Right. Learn behavior was a good point because we were taught to, live this type of life. You go to elementary school, you go to middle school, you go to high school, then you go to college.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just what everybody was taught. Then some families are different. You got to be a lawyer, you got to be a doctor,
nurse,
or you got to be a nurse, or you got to be this,
Yeah.
you got to be that. That was just a learned behavior because one is safe.
Yeah.
It's familiar.
Mm-hmm.
And doing it afraid is doing the unknown.
Yeah.
It's stepping into the unknown, stepping into something that nobody knows how it goes. Your daddy, your mom, grandma, don't nobody know how this goes.
Yeah.
So they telling you, well, we know what's been working for the past 10 years. You go to school.
But that ain't the only way.
And you get you a job.
Mm-hmm.
And you get married.
Yeah.
You have your kid. You buy your house, and then that's how life works.
And then you go to work and pay bills every day.
And then you go to work, and then now you in debt.
Yeah.
But that was the way they were. Their parents were taught, and their parents was taught, and their parents was taught. That's how you do it because, like I said, one is safe, it's familiar, and you already just you're conditioned to just do this.
Yeah.
But doing it afraid is stepping into that unknown.
Yeah.
It's stepping into, okay, everybody went this route. I'm gonna go this route. I'm gonna start this business. I'm gonna cut this hair. I'm gonna do hair. I'm gonna start nails. I'm gonna start a paint shop. I'm gonna start photography. I'm gonna start podcasts. I'm gonna do YouTube. And everybody looking at you like, why are you doing that?
Yeah.
They don't understand because they're so used of staying in that comfort zone, staying in that American dream of, I gotta get a house, I gotta get married, have a baby, get a house, go to work. That's it. Travel 1 to 2 times out the year. You raise your kids, you retire, you die. Like, I don't want to live like that.
I don't think that's the abundant life that God promised us.
And so growing up,
nothing is wrong with that.
No,
let us be
wrong.
very clear. Nothing is wrong with that if that is what you desire.
Right.
That's what you feel God told you to do. But I don't believe that that's the abundant life that God has for the Millers. Let's be very clear about that.
Yeah, so growing up, it was just like, okay, I knew I didn't want to go to a 4-year school. And I didn't know what I wanted to do because growing up in the hood, in public schools, you just don't have that many options. They just not showing you can do this and you can be this and you try this and try that. We're not going on field trips to places. We're not doing that. So all I know is, okay, people work and people go to school or you go to the army. Like, that's all you know. And so when I first got out of high school, I didn't know what I wanted to do. I moved to Ohio. With my dad and started working. And like, that was the beginning of it. And it was just like, so I feel like a lot of us are just stuck in this comfortable system because, one, you're not exposed to enough. 2, you don't know what you want to do. And 3, you're just going off of learned behavior. So we just stuck in this comfortable position. You know what I mean? And just imagine if you came out of high school and you've been exposed and you knew what you wanted to do, and all that time from 18 to 30 you just working on your craft. Like, look where you could be. And so that's just like, man, guys, we just want you, from anything you get anything from this episode, is stop being afraid of doing that thing. Take that first step. God's going to guide you along this journey. God does not demand you to do anything that he has not already provided for. And I just read that today. God does not demand you to do anything that he hasn't already provided for. So if he lays something on your spirit to do, he's already provided for you along the way. So don't be afraid to take the first journey. Like, don't be afraid to take the first step on this journey, on your new journey. We was watching the show yesterday where the guy was on drugs, selling drugs, on drugs, and he got to a point where he overdosed, and then he said he had a a meeting with God, like God came to it and was like, you know, hey, you need to get your life together, or I'm gonna take your life. So he said he told God, if you just just remove all this from me, I would do your will. Got clean. He got right with his kids.
Yeah.
And he had like 5, 6 kids. He got right with his kids. And his kids, like, when he started started a business, food business, shelf now. So he went through the struggle of being on drugs, selling drugs, almost dying to the point to he had to change. He knew he had to change his life.
Yeah.
So are you at that point right now where you know you need to change some things? We encouraging you now to change that, to start a different path for your family, start a different path for your legacy. You don't have to just work and die. You don't have to just work and just so you can take a trip once a year, or you work just to pay bills. And a lot of people, man, what we going through right now, people just working and still struggling, can't even buy groceries, can't even take a trip, can't even do nothing because you still behind. And but you can change that. I really believe you can change that with the power of God, power of belief, and a whole lot of work. Like, you gotta believe in God that he hasn't forgot about you. God is still here with you. You gotta have the power of belief that you can come from all the way from the bottom, all the way from behind, and you can change your life. You can be on top. You can have more than enough money. You can have more than enough house. You can have more than enough for your kids. And you just got to put a lot of work in. A lot of people want things for free, but people don't want to put the work in. Work, you have to put work in. A whole lot of work, then you reap the rewards after that. So don't be afraid to just believe in those 3 things and do those 3 things, and do it afraid.
Yeah, I think a big part though of doing it afraid is being afraid of comfort. You have to be afraid of being comfortable, because a lot of times comfort zones will, I won't necessarily say they'll paralyze you, but they'll keep you stagnant because it feels good. It'll keep you mediocre. It'll keep you feeling like, you're doing it, or you're getting ahead, but you're staying stagnant in that place because you're comfortable. And anytime something doesn't feel comfortable or challenges us, we're afraid. We run back, or we try to get out of it, or we run back to our place of where we feel is safe.
It's safe. Safe place,
But it's comfort. And that's why I'm so glad that I'm finally reading the book, and I've had it a couple months, but I'm so glad that I'm reading it. Don't settle for safe. You can't settle for safe. You can't settle for what feels good, because a lot of times now, ultimately, we want what feels good. We want what feels good to us. We want, because we feel like that's what we're supposed to do. It feels, but I think we need to get to a point where when we're comfortable for too long, we need to start kind of questioning something.
You need to check that.
We need to start kind of questioning, okay, if I'm still comfortable, then what is it that needs to be changed to make me uncomfortable so that I can grow? What is it that needs to change that makes me uncomfortable so that I can get to the next level? Because if you think about it, a lot of people always say, new levels, new devils. So the next time that you go to that next level, something else is coming. You got to be prepared. You got to be prepared that something is going to come when you take that next step. But a lot of times we're scared of that next step because we already know that something is coming. But when you have that, like we always talk about, when you have that foundation and you believe, well, first in God and who He's called you to be, and 2, you believe in you. You can get through those levels. You can get through those storms. You can get through those lowest valleys. unafraid.
Unafraid.
Because you already know. Like,
right.
How many times in the Bible does God say, do not be afraid?
Because I'm with you.
How many times is that in the Bible?
Right.
Like, we literally read that. We literally, we see that and we know that.
But do we actually believe it?
That's the thing. Do we believe it?
Yeah.
Do we really believe, that do not be afraid because I am with you? I will go before you.
Yeah.
Like, I remember when, it's so crazy because the same job that I hated so much that I left it, I remember praying for that job and asking God to go before me in the interview.
Go before me, Lord.
Go before me in the interview, Lord. Meet me there. Child, 3 years later,
Lord, get moving, Lord.
It's funny now, but it's crazy because ultimately,
Yeah.
you need those steps. You need that journey. You need that process to continue to forward you.
Right.
To help you get through those times when you're afraid. Because then you can think back on, when I was afraid, or, when I asked God, when I tried God at his word, you said do not be afraid because I will go before you, and I tried you and you showed me. So now when I'm afraid this time, okay, God, I remember you did that before.
I did, yeah.
I remember your track record now.
Yeah.
So I think we need to be cautious of being comfortable. Have the fear of being comfortable, because then we'll continue to go up. We'll continue to excel. People, I know a lot of times people say, nothing comes from comfort. Nothing great comes from comfort zones.
Right.
If you think about Amazon and you think about Nike and just some of the bigger companies that we love today, if you look at their stories, McDonald's, we watched the McDonald's movie. I don't remember what it was called, but if you go back and you just look at their stories and listen to their stories or watch their stories, you see that they pushed through comfort.
Yeah.
It was scary. They did it afraid as well. Yeah. They pushed through comfort. They pushed through not having enough. They pushed through no's. Yep. Oh my God, you're gonna get no after no. Right. And I say a lot, I don't take no. We turn that no into just not yet.
Yeah.
Because ultimately, your no may be a no for me, but someone else is doing the same thing that you do, or someone else is offering the same program that I need. It's just not yet from you, but I'm going to get that yes from someone.
Yeah.
I'm going to get that yes from somewhere.
Yeah.
Even God's no, a lot of times it's not yet.
Right.
Although he may say no in this season, it's still coming.
Yeah, it's still coming. For sure.
It's his protection. It's making sure that, okay, you may not be ready for, 30-year-old or old Jet might not be ready for it right now. But 50-year-old Jet, oh, he ready.
He ready.
I done molded him.
Yeah.
I done kind of built his character, Right. He ready now.
He ready, yeah.
So you have to take those no's as not yet and not as fear. Not necessarily as rejection.
Right.
Just as not yet.
Right.
Be afraid of comfort.
Yeah, that's so good. Be afraid of comfort. So we just leave with that. Just be afraid of comfort. If you know you're comfortable right now, you're in your comfort zone, we encourage you. No, look, we telling you, get out your comfort zone. Do something uncomfortable. Yeah. I read again, growth. You would never grow if you remain comfortable. Or growth is in discomfort. Growth is in discomfort. So if you're comfortable, you're not growing, not going to the next level. You're not elevating if you're just comfortable. We want to encourage you to be uncomfortable, to get uncomfortable. For the rest of the year, just get uncomfortable, man. Do something that you're scared of. Do something that you're fearful of. Do something afraid. Do something that's unknown. On the other side of this, I don't know what's going to happen, but I know I need to do it. I know that on the other side of it, it's good for my life, it's good for my children, it's good for my wife, it's good for my health. If you don't want to work out, we want to encourage you to work out because it's good for your health. You can live longer.
And it's uncomfortable.
And it's uncomfortable. So especially in this Alabama heat. Boy, 90 degrees, you out there working out, it's so uncomfortable, but the results and the feeling that you have afterward is so beneficial, man. So we hope you learned something. Hey, we want you to stay tapped in and locked in with your dreams and your goals. Yeah. Do it afraid. Make sure you like, subscribe, and comment to the channel. Load up. Till next time.
Be afraid of rejection.
That's so good. Be afraid. No,
that ain't what I said. He afraid of comfort.
Oh,
Also, we made you to mess us up.